Hello everyone, I'm trying a new camera setup that I've jigged together. See if it works. Okay, so I thought we'd make this very sweet little sticky pad notebook with a hardcover. I made a belly band for it. You can or not. Then you can decorate it any way you want. I'm just going to show you how to make the basic little book. Okay, so you need one of these 50mm by 50mm or 5cm square sticky note pads. You get 4 colours. I've already used the pink one, as you can see. So I've now picked out some colours that'll work with this quite neon green. So one of those, I've just split the block down into its individual colours. So I'm just using one of the colour sections. To create the hardback, you need, as always, I'm just using recycled chipboard that I pull off the back of those hardbacked envelopes. So you need 2 squares of that, each measuring 5cm. Okay, and then a little bit measuring 5cm by 1cm, which will become the spine of your book. Become this bit. Okay. For the outer cover, this is all scrap paper, so you know, have a rip through your scraps. You don't need very big bits, so you probably get away with it. So you need one piece measuring 14 by 7. That is going to be the outside of your book. The lining of your book, which is this bit inside, you need a piece 11 by 4.8 centimeters. To cover your sticky note block, you need a piece measuring 5, and I've gone for 8. It just, you know, it's scrap, so it goes a long way down the back. And if you want a belly band, it needs to be 14 centimeters by 2 centimeters. Okay, so that's where we're up to so far. Put that to one side for now. Okay, so I will try and leave all of these here and hope they're in camera angle, but without standing up and having a look, I don't know. And if I stand up to have a look, I'll probably knock the camera anyway. So I'm just going to go with the flow and hope it works. Okay, so I am going to use the outer cover, which is 14 by 7. And I'm going to use the 3 pieces of chipboard, okay, and some glue. So what we're going to do is stick this chipboard onto the wrong side of your paper. It's all scrap, so I haven't decided. I'll use the green on the outside. So don't be sparing with your glue. I'm using the Knitters Tacky Glue. I just decanted into this bottle because I can squeeze this bottle easier. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to line all of these up within this rectangle of paper with a little gap in between, and then we're going to move fold over the sides and tuck them all in prettily. So at the minute I'm just putting glue on one side, and I'm leaving probably about a 2mm gap, because I figured out, I mean, this paper is quite heavyweight anyway, but I figured out that if you make your gap slightly wider than I originally planned, your paper doesn't tend to crack on the spine down here. At least that's my theory at the moment. That could change. But I think the cracking is down to the thickness of the paper I was using. I think if you used a thinner paper, you wouldn't need to leave the gap so wide. But it works. As long as it works, that's all that matters. So as I say, I'm leaving about a 2mm gap. I mean, I'm not measuring it. It's a wild guess. Okay, I'm just trying to get them all straight. Then you will need a bone folder to gently, because they will move around because quite a bit of glue on these, burnish them down to the paper. There we go, I think. Right, next we are going to use the chipboard to help us fold the paper. We're just going to roll the paper over the edge of the chipboard, just to get it going. We're going to do that on all sides. You'll need to hold your 3 pieces together to do this. And I don't think I've quite let me glue dry enough, so I'm just going to go back over that with my bone folder before I move on a bit further. Okay, right, so next you need some scissors, because what we're going to do is we're going to crop off the corners just so we don't have all that bulk. But I'm going to show you a trick with the corners, so hang on to these bits you're cutting off. I mean, I rarely remember to do this, but the idea is if you've cut this maybe too close to the corner, when you fold it in, some of the chipboard will be visible. So the idea is that using the corners you've cut, stick them to the corners of your chipboard before you do this folding in, and that covers up any gaps on your chipboard. It's a good idea. I quite like the idea. I saw it somewhere, don't remember where. Okay, so I like to put a line of glue right along the edge of my chipboard pieces, because I want the paper to form, you know, like the ridge around the edge to form the hardcover of the book. And I think it just helps it to stick to this if I do some glue down there. Okay, now I'm going to put some glue on the tabs. I'm not being sparing with the glue. It can get quite messy, so I warn you. I have used double-sided tape to do these, but my double-sided tape is 5 centimeters wide. I wouldn't even attempt it with the regular double-sided tape. I'd just lose the will to live. But I did find some that's 5 centimeters wide, so I sometimes use that to do these bookbinding things. Okay, so we have all of the glue around the outside. Okay, you will need your bone folder close at hand. You'll probably have to wash it afterwards. So the first thing I'm doing is running my bone folder along that edge where I started putting the glue. And then I'm going to bring that edge over onto the chipboard. It doesn't matter how messy this chipboard gets, because we are going to cover it with a liner. So just spread the glue out. That does come out. Don't worry about it. As long as it's not on the outside. Just make sure you haven't got any on the edges. Right, that's one side down. Let's do the other side. I'll just wipe the glue off on my hand for now, because you need to do this bit just to make it look really nice at the end. Okay, I was thinking of making these into little key rings, because it'd be awesome little key rings, but I didn't have the chain part of the key ring. I've got like rings and stuff that I could use, and eyelets, but I didn't have the actual clippy part of the key ring, so I couldn't do it. I might do it yet. I might order some and try it, because I think it would be awesome as a little the little chain hanging off there, so you can clip it onto your keys or your handbag. Just then you know you've always got some paper nearby when you're out and about. Sorry, I'm just carrying on. Sorry, I'm so used to crafting on my own now. Right, okay. Do not worry if your corners are like protruding. We can trim them off once we've got it all nice and level. So I'm just making sure all my sides are nice and straight and glued. I'm just gonna, anything that I think might show, I'm going to trim off now while the glue's still damp. Then you can pat it down so that it's all lying flat. There we go. So up to now, this is where we're up to. So your outside of your book is covered. Okay, so now we're going to put the lining in, and that literally just covers that hole in the middle of there and almost reaches the edges all around. Okay, so glue around the outside is very important, so make sure you get some glue right along the edge of this paper. Again, this is double-sided scrap paper. I've done so many projects lately, I've got loads of scraps. Okay, so simply align this with a nice even border all the way around. And then gently, because it'll move at first, gently bind it down with your now glued up bone folder, right? But don't walk away and leave it at this, because we now need to fold on these spines before the glue sets. So find your spine. It's easy to do. You just, if you run your finger along, you can feel them usually. There's one. Just mark them with the end of your bone folder, the two gaps next to the spine. Right, this is probably the trickiest bit, because what you're aiming to do is to bring these, the front and back of the book up without lifting any of the paper, and it does tend to try and bubble. It will try and bubble both here and here, both sides of that crease. But just keep going and burnish it down with your bone folder as you're going. This is why you need to do it while the glue's still wet, because if you walked away and did it with the glue dry, you would never get the bubbles out. Right. So it's just a case of working it. And then checking. Like I can see that's lifted a bit there. So that's all we're doing. We're just working the fold and then checking. We're nearly there now. The bottom end's fine. It's just this top end I need to manipulate a bit more. I don't know, right, I don't know if you can see where the paper isn't quite laid flat in there. That's what I'm working on. I want that to be flat, and it's not hard to do. You just do it with your bone folder. Nearly there, I think. I'm showing you, but I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. Right, so that's what we're aiming for, some nice tight inner folds. Okay, almost there. Don't take long now. Right, now we're going to work with the 5x8 piece of paper. Again, it's double-sided, because we're going to use it to wrap our little block. Right, put it to the bottom of your block. Make sure it's straight and hold tight, because as you're bending this around the top of your block, if you're not holding tight, it will pull up, so it won't cover the front of your block when you're done. So all we're going to do is tease that fold, crease for now anyway, over the top. Now don't press hard at the back, because remember you've got your sticky bit under there. We're just forming the folds so that we can then burnish them down with your bone folder. Right, make sure you stick it on the right way up. There we go. Right, so that's what that's going to look like. Right, a tip I'll give you now. I don't know if it's just the way I use these or what, but my little blocks always fall apart, like come apart in the middle or something, when I'm using them without any bindings on. So I have been putting glue on this spine part, which will then stick against where the pad is stuck together and just help keep it together. It's worth a try. Okay, so I've put glue from like everything that isn't covered, so from here to there, and now I'm going to fold it over, make sure it's straight, and then I'm just going to tap it into the spine where I've just put that glue, so that it's nice and tight up against that glue. I'm putting dry glue everywhere off my bone folder now. Right, so with this one, I did it so that the book opens this way. Okay, you can also do it so the book opens that way. It's up to you. Yeah, I think just because I did the other one that way, I'll do this one this way. Put that on there before I end up putting it in the bin. Right, so now this is what the back of your little notepad looks like. All you need to do is cover that with glue, including the sticky note. And then I'll just turn that around because the picture looks better that way. And then center it in the back of your little notepad, your little hardcover, and then pull it in. What I'm doing is I'm holding the hardcover, but I'm pulling against the pad to make sure it goes right up inside of that spine. Okay, now this takes a bit of pressure because you're going through so many layers now to make sure this glue sets on the back of your little book. Okay, hopefully that's it. Yeah, just double check it's all in straight. Yep. Okay, and if you want a belly band, all you do is lie it on the front of your book. You bear in mind you don't want this too tight, it has to come off. So just gently bend your paper around there, keep a hold of it till you go around the back, and then gently bend it around the back again. We're not even going to use the bone folder on this because that'll crisp it up too much. Okay, so line it up so it's straight. Put a bit of glue on the end. Try not to get it on your book. You don't stick the belly band to the book like I've done in the past. And then gently open it a bit. Don't pull it as tight as you originally started doing it. What's going on? Oh, there we go. I was just caught on something. And take it off and set your glue. There we go. Oh, it had glue on there, that's why. Right. And then decorate as you wish. Just do, you know, little flower on the front or star, or decorate the belly band. Or but one thing I will say is, once it's done, put something heavy on the top of it just till all the glue dries, or it may warp a little bit just because there's so much glue in there. So there you go. Have fun.